It's time for another episode of Hops and Hedges, where we talk about beer, landscaping, and everything in between. Season 1 is proudly sponsored by ext.tech, helping you grow and revolutionize your landscaping business. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in.
Okay, and we are rolling. So welcome again, Hops and Hedges. With me today is Will Heeman.
It's me.
That is him. I am not Will Heeman. I don't even look like a Will Heeman. But we are at your beautiful greenhouse location, Heemans in London, near Tilsonburg, or is it near Chelmsford? Thorndale. I knew it was a T. It was one of those.
Thorndale, Chelmsford, Dorchester.
Yep.
It's a whole bunch.
All of those. And before we get started, you've got your water going. I've got my apple cider. I was actually hoping for the, you guys have the apple cider slushy machine?
The sloshies.
Sloshies.
It's not a slushy, because there's alcohol in it, so it's a sloshy.
That's what I really wanted,
Yeah.
But you didn't have it. But I think we need
today.
something a little stronger.
Yeah, probably.
Than these.
Yeah, we can probably do that.
So what did you bring?
Today I have our blueberry, but my bottle opener's over there. I gotta grab that.
We need the bottle opener.
Yeah, we need the bottle
You
opener.
can't do it with your teeth, Will? You can't? Please don't. I'll pass
My
out.
wife would be so mad when she watches this, and she said, you did that with your teeth. So today we have our blueberry, which is, I just love it for like a nice summer day like this.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones we have in the summertime, so I'm just gonna put this near the mic.
So satisfying.
So this one is one of the ones that I usually go to.
Okay.
It's only available seasonally, but it'll be coming back again at Christmas time.
Excellent.
And you can see.
Nice color. It actually has the same color as Empress Gin. Have you ever had Empress Gin?
Not yet, but I mean, everyone loves that purple drink, and this one has that like, it's the natural blueberry raspberry combo. So
Nice.
the color is like on point, and the matches the label. So it's got our raspberries, local blueberries, apples in there, and like when we did the label design, we wanted that Dutch Delft-Blauw inspired thing. So that was my brother's inspiration with that label. But
very cool.
that's for you.
Well, thank
this
you.
One's for me.
Cheers to you.
Now we can get started. Now we can get started.
Now we can get started. I actually really like the cherry mead that you guys have.
Cherry Grove. I was literally just in the cidery about 20 minutes before we did this, checking on it because we're doing the ferment. The bottles came in, so we're going to be doing production on that one pretty soon. So right now is like from a cider perspective, it's a really exciting time because all the fruit is coming off, and we're starting to get into like really ramping up on our like fall production
Awesome. And there's so many. There's so many.
There's a lot, yeah.
So we're going to get right into it. You are the homeowner, or you are a homeowner, sorry, and you are the owner of Heeman's Greenhouse, and that's where we are right now. So the whole nursery is actually in front of us, and this here is more of like a display garden. People and kids, they can walk through it, which is really nice. Heeman's is a family business, right? Yeah. So well, I know where it started. It started right here.
Yeah, so right here.
But how did it start? How did Heeman's come to be Heemans?
So it's a love story because my grandparents were dating and living in the Netherlands.
Yep.
And so my grandmother grew up in Aalsmeer, which those who know flowers know, capital of the world, flower capital of the world there.
Nice.
And she grew up on before World War II, it was a carnation growing operation. So we have a little photo of my grandmother with her carnations. And
it's my favorite flower, by the way. Carnations.
Yeah, it's meant to,
Hint, husband.
There you go.
He knows.
Hint,
he should know.
So my grandparents were dating, and my grandfather was at home, and a ticket salesperson came by to drop off tickets to one of his siblings who was going abroad. And he said he wasn't there, but he's like, anyone else want any tickets? He's like, where do you got? And he's like, we got tickets to Canada, the U.S., Australia, and New Zealand. And the Dutch like Canadians, Australia and New Zealand were too far. So he's like, let me buy 2 of those tickets, got on his bike, drove over, asked my grandmother to marry him, and they moved to Canada. So we kind of moved around, bought this farm, which we're on today. And actually right behind right in front of us here is where the first patch of strawberries was when they bought the farm. And they quickly built the pond, which you can see here. Created the like hill behind us here, which is when people come out and like wander on it.
Yep.
That was a great sacrifice on my part because when I was a kid, that was our toboggan hill.
Oh.
Before we put the gardens and the trail and all the rest of it.
That would have been awesome for toboggan.
We'd just kind of shoot down and go across. So it definitely is one of those things where you have memories from growing up and like being part of it. And even on the weekend, my son was here and we were kind of doing those things where you've got that fourth generation that's we want to make sure they kind of have as close to like connection to growing up on the farm and keeping it family. Because for us, your name's on your shirt. It's like something that we take a lot of pride in. And I think when you're saying that you're a family-owned and operated business, you want to be present. You want people to be able to see that you're there, and you want to be able to make sure that you're, that you're connected.
So when was that? Like, when was the first?
1963. They bought this farm. So 61 years ago. Last year's 60. So yeah, I look great for 61.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Eating lots of strawberries. But it started as a strawberry farm, and then we added greenhouses in the 70s after my grandmother was adamant with my grandfather that they should do that, and he was like, I don't know anything about that, but we're sitting here, there's greenhouse all around, so she had a great amount of influence, and then it kind of just like snowballed from there.
Wow. And so you, on the pre-interview questionnaire, you said that you've been here full-time since 2010.
Yes.
But before that, like growing up here on the farm, family business, was it always your dream to take over Heemans?
Absolutely not.
Did you want to be an astronaut or a ballerina?
I wanted to be an accountant. And before that, I wanted to be a lawyer. Like I had.
An accountant.
Yeah.
You're way too
Can't you
fun.
tell? Like, can't you tell that I?
You're way too fun to be an accountant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I have fun accountant friends.
Yeah. And all of my fun accountant friends specifically say that. No, I'm a fun accountant. So there's it's one of those things that you sometimes just have to figure that out for yourself. And when you're growing up in it, you kind of take for granted some of those things that you see your family members doing. But as I grew wiser through university, and you start to work in there, and you kind of get to see other things and working outside of the farm, then you realize, it's a good thing. I'm working with plants.
Yep.
You work with people. You're working outside. You're working inside.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want those quiet days, and plants don't talk back. They talk in their own way, but it's a quiet way. But also at the same time, I really enjoy working with people too. So I think that's one of those beautiful things about the horticulture industry. Is there's so many subsects of it that there's probably an avenue if you're interested in plants or in growing. There's so many different ways that you can.
I've said that so many times. Doesn't matter what your interest is.
I probably owe you some money for copyright infringement then.
Here. I don't know. No idea. We'll look it up later. I doubt it. What else was I going to say? Oh, and just growing up, something else that you mentioned was just the growth that's happened here.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been here full time since 2010.
Yeah.
But you have memories of that being a toboggan hill.
Oh yeah.
I remember none of these greenhouses being here.
Yeah. Well, so there's been a lot of growth, like on both sides where people are experiencing it, and then also the areas where we're growing and putting up new growing ranges and just expanding that to basically respond to the feedback that we've gotten from the community. But just here, if you're sitting on the dock and you're looking over the pond, there's a row of greenhouses, and then there's a second row of greenhouses, and behind that there's our mum field. But in like the 90s, that was just all raspberries, and there was no greenhouses back there, and so there's been like I refer to it as like an evolution, because you're just you're responding to what people want. We never actually ever set out to like ever had a thing where we're going to grow bigger. It was just the reward for a job well done is another job, right?
Yes.
And so you're just responding to the feedback that people are giving you and what they want, and whether that's the adding the cider or adding the workshops or adding the full service year-round part of things, or the coffee bar, the beanery, very popular. Yeah.
So good.
Those are all things that just you put something out there. And if you're going to host a party, host a good one.
Yep.
And so good. People, when they engage with things and it goes well, then you're more likely to kind of keep on going with that.
Yeah, it's funny actually. You mentioned the workshop, so that's how I know you personally.
Yeah.
Because I was checking.
She's
today.
an elf.
I am one of the Heemans greenhouse elves.
Yeah.
So come Christmas time and the winter holiday season, my name becomes Pickles.
Pickles, that's right.
And actually, speaking of pickles, Heemans has pickles.
Oh, those are the best.
So good.
Yeah.
Their beets are actually really good too. But my workshop name is Pickles.
Yeah.
And I help teach and kind of present facilitate different workshops.
You can't see that at all, right? This personality and like the presentation. Yeah.
I'm super boring. You don't want to come to the workshops at all. And so I've actually been doing that. I mean, this season coming up is going to be my 4th season with Heemans already. Yeah. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so crazy.
I'm glad you said it. I was going to say 3. I was like, time flies, It's,
time does fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, I've been with Heemans for 3 years, but this will be my 4th season,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But you guys don't just have the workshops. You also do your winter wellness.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you bring in community companies and business owners where they actually deliver yoga classes.
Yeah.
I think there's a meditation one as well.
Yeah, we do like
whole bunch of different
watercolor painting. We've done like cookie decorating. We've done pretty much. So, when we first started with it, it was one of those things where at the end of the day, you have a lot of people who, don't always get away, and they love to kind of regenerate themselves through coming into a greenhouse. There's always that like vibe when you come in, you're just like, when you're in the greenhouse and then that door opens up and you just hit it. It's almost like an earthy, to me it's like the smell of like peat moss and spring, and it's just a moisture, and it's just like, especially when it's cold and it's dry outside. And so we have the greenhouse space, and we want to make sure that we can kind of hit on one of our core values, which is cultivating community. And so sharing our space and having people be able to come in and create different ways of doing it. Like in Canada, the growing season is kind of short. When I worked in New Zealand, the growing season is all the time or whatever, so you don't have to have a reason to go to the greenhouse. But we're creating that. So creating that community feel, whether that's through, it really started because we did yoga, and it went really well, but it was in 2020, and so then it all kind of like
that little
went
thing that happened
away.
called COVID, everything changed.
Yeah. So, but as we kind of evolve, you're trying to share that space and create that connection for people. And it started with my wife was on mat leave, and she wanted to be able to have a way to engage and do like baby fitness at her classes, mom and baby fitness, like she had done. It's like, well, the greenhouse is there, so we did that, and it kind of evolved. So
you guys have like kid activity days too. So like
we
when
do,
there's
a lot of
PA
fun.
days or days off from school, and the kids are looking for something to do,
Yeah.
then you offer these workshops too, where the kids can come in and they sign up for a time slot. Their parents come, and I've helped with.
I was gonna say when the kids are
well.
looking for something to do, or the grandparents or the kids who are watching them are looking
Whatever
for
the
something
adult,
wholesome for them to do. So again, we're just there's programming that we do that's themed with the time of year, you're great to help us out with that. It's just really connecting people with horticulture and with gardening, because one of the things that I always feel is that people are once you're in it, you're like, oh, you're a plant person, but you don't just turn 55 and you just wake up, you're like, oh my God, I like gardening now. It has to be cultivated, and there has to be some kind of like, so we're trying to spark that connection. And whether that's with coming out to go picking strawberries, or whether it's coming in to like help out with your first veggie garden, or coming into a PD Day event, you're wanting to create like a connection to.
So important. I say it all the time, that there are so many different things out there for personal and professional development, or adult classes, or how to garden books and things like that, or outreach programs in high schools. But we're missing this whole elementary preschool level. Like, how do we get these kids with their hands in the soil? Not dirt. It's not dirt. It's soil.
My grandfather would be rolling in the grave if he's like, it's
soil.
It's potting mix or soil. There's no dirt in it.
Dirt is what you put under the rug.
That's right.
That's what I had a teacher
Absolutely
who said
not.
that. You don't put it in your garden or your plants. You put it under the rug.
Yeah.
And I was going to say too, because you mentioned about coming into the greenhouse and just feeling like and smelling all that thing. And what is the catchphrase under your shirt for Heemans?
Our space, your happy place. So, now it's very trendy to have, like, there's the third space, right? There's where you're at home and you're at work, and then there's a place that you want to go and you don't have to be at one of those two. And for a long time we've had that as our slogan, just because at the end of the day, our staff are called day makers. I'm the chief day maker, and the whole premise behind that is that nobody's forcing you to come out and visit a garden center, or come out to a strawberry farm, or to come out and do that. And we want people to leave happier than when they came. And we really try to create a space where people just can take a load off. And when you're coming out, you're escaping the hustle and bustle. We're not in the city. You've got to make a destination to come and be here. But we want it to be like something that people feel recharged, recentered, just like just more at ease and calm. So and just have a great time with it. So
I always have a great time here, and I always go home happier. And I usually have a few plants in my car. I don't know if you've seen. I need to take some pictures of how many plants I can Tetris into my Civic?
Yeah, sometimes I'll tease people. I'm like, "You're shooting a commercial. That's how many like boxwoods can you get in the back of a Rav4 or
it's
something like that?"
Guess how many jelly beans are in the jar? It's like, guess how many plants I got in the Civic. I should do that.
You should do that.
We'll partner up with Heemans and do a giveaway. How many plants are in the Civic?
Yeah.
So yes, we were just about to talk about beers. That Heemans is one day going to have a Heemans beer. I will get behind that for sure. But you are an IPA guy. I'm also into IPAs for sure. And you actually mentioned a lactose IPA from Noctum.
Yeah.
So that's in Quebec City. Have you been there? Is that how you discovered it, or?
My wife is half French Canadian,
Okay.
and so we would always go up to Victoriaville, Quebec, the part of Quebec where like I just sit there and go yes, because my French is not strong enough. So I have my 6-year-old who speaks French, or my wife who speaks French, and when we go, I always look forward to it because one of the family members is in Quebec City, and they'll just bring down a case of a whole bunch of stuff. And the first time they just blew my mind. I was like. Really good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out. Does your wife and child ever talk in French so that you don't understand intentionally?
Behind my back? Not yet. I'm sure that's coming.
One day. So something you actually have already touched on when we were talking is that when you do travel, you travel to do even plants. Because I know I've talked to you before when you were down south in Florida, was it?
Yeah.
And you're checking out the actual tropicals that you're going to bring up to your amazing, you have a whole houseplant section, which is very impressive. Yeah. So you've been to Florida. Have you been anywhere else? For houseplant sourcing and tropicals?
Been to California to meet with growers that we have in California, and into BC not for houseplants, but like for our growers. And then I've done trips for work to check on garden centers in the Czech Republic. We did a IPM show, which is the largest horticulture show in the world in Essen, in Germany, and then go to Holland as well to meet with suppliers from time to time.
And so where else have you traveled? Maybe not for work, but where else have you been to?
I've been to 26 countries in 6 continents. So
you haven't figured this out before? Nobody's asked you before then?
I have a scratchy map. I have a scratchy map, actually.
That's so I have one too.
I'm leaving for Turkey in like 2 days for our anniversary. But before I became a parent, my wife and I, we would try to work hard and play hard, and that was like one of the things that's like
I like that.
Was like an outlet for us to be able to kind of go and explore different parts of the world.
Cool.
But
and never the same place twice.
Never the same place twice.
Never.
No.
There's not been a single place you've gone to twice.
We've gone.
I guess intentionally.
No, yeah, we've gone now that we're parents. We've gone to like Punta Cana twice or whatever. But in terms of like places that
to experience,
we're gonna set off and go. There's
to check it off the.
We had really amazing times in like Jordan and Peru and whatever. And there's kind of like that memory that was like a thing
associated with that.
Don't look back, look forward, right? Because it's got a really golden hue around that memory, and you're only gonna just. There's new places. The world is so big.
So big. Have you guys done India yet?
I have done India.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've also done India, so.
I did India and China within 2 months of each other. I learned how to be in crowded spaces.
Oh, my anxiety just went up as soon as you said crowded spaces. I don't think I would do very well in China, even though India was also pretty crowded.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your own garden.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know from your questionnaire, you can also hear that your Heemans is close to the airport.
Literally.
Right?
Yeah. Right on.
You guys got lots of activity from the recent air show, right?
You could say that.
The whole place shakes.
Yeah, it was the planes. It almost felt like the air show was for us. It was like right on top. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So your own garden.
Yeah.
You said here very clean.
Yeah.
Lots of mass planting. So you like the low maintenance, clean, serene.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because last night I was coming home and there was a runner who had stopped in front of my house, and she was just kind of like looking at it. And then I was backing in. She's like, "Do you live here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love your house. This gardener." She's like, "I don't know anything about plants, but you guys, how do you do this?" Or like, "Who does this for you?" I'm like, I do that. And then she's like, "Oh, they're great." And I'm like, "Oh, those are annuals." She's like, "What are that? What's that?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I plant them every year." She's like, "Oh, you really garden? Like, you actually plant that more than once?" I'm like, "Yeah." So
that would have been awesome to just capture on film, that whole conversation.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
I was telling my wife about it. There's a beauty in having things that you can kind of renew. And so I have sections of my gardens which are
Yep.
for annuals, and then I have sections which are like the lower maintenance where you're putting them
Nice.
in and then they're there. But
Mix things up.
I have a mix of like rock features and like retaining walls and like the landscape lighting and
A little bit of everything.
it's
And-
nice. I always joke with my neighbors. I'm like, you guys know what I do for a living. I can't have an ugly garden. So
Right.
the only thing that I usually lack is time to kind of spend more time in there. But you know, I do make sure that I'm out there at least like once a week, making sure that things are tidied.
I know what that's like, because
Yeah.
as a landscape designer, I definitely have the worst garden.
The shoemaker's kids.
Yeah,
has
on
no
the
shoes,
street.
yeah.
Awful. And so out of all the plants, I mean, you've got, how many acres here do you have? Do you know?
Of greenhouse, we have about 4 acres of greenhouse.
Okay.
But
How big's the
farming
property?
over 300 acres. Yeah.
Gee, and so you've got bees,
Yes.
right? You've got the aviary.
I just saw
not
one go
aviary.
right. Yeah, apiary.
Apiary.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
This is strong cider. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we have an apiary where we are keeping. We have over 100 hives, which so we specialize in like rattle honey. So we have our bees that are working in the fields for strawberries and raspberries for the blossoms there, and then we also have other different varietal honeys and the wildflower honeys, and we have. So we also make mead with the honey that we produce, so we're able to make some of our delicious meads, which is
So good.
yeah. For those who don't know, that's like a honey wine, which is why Friar Tuck was so popular.
Yep.
You know, because it's like if you have bees, you have booze. And
If
that was
you
the
have bees,
original.
you have booze.
That was
I
the
like
original.
that.
Yeah. So
I like that. Okay, and so you've got 4 acres of greenhouse, you said. You've got a ton of plants.
Yes.
I almost swore there. I was going to be like, plants?
yeah,
but
I do
won't.
have a ton of plants. Yeah, I have
Right, you do.
millions of plants. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So with all of the, let's say garden plants, so when I say gardens, I mean not annuals. So
Okay.
your conifers, your shrubs, your trees, your perennials, do you have a favorite?
Oh my
Is there
gosh.
one family? I'm going to cover your answer.
I mean,
Putting you on the spot.
I mean, I do and I don't.
Yeah.
If pressed, I would probably say I do love a good hydrangea
Yeah.
a lot. I know that that's a crappy answer to give because
I don't think so.
there's so many people in the world that love hydrangeas. I was just doing a consult with somebody and they were talking about their hydrangeas where they were trying to find something small, but at the time, 3 to 4 feet was the smallest. I'm like, wow, we have made some advances, so I can get you
there's
1.5 to 2
super
feet.
mini ones now.
But there's just so many different things about them, and there's hydrangea for different spaces,
Yep.
there's different colors. I do really like the paniculata series
Yep.
a lot. I just think that there's something beautiful about not having to mess around with the pH and did I prune it right. And I know there's lots of advances on that, but I think for me, we are trying to connect with the everyday gardener,
Yep.
the people who don't identify as a gardener, the people, and we want, more than anything, we want people to be successful with that, because if you're successful with one thing, then you're more likely to have a
Experiment
positive
and try some more things.
Yeah, and there's so much that whether it's through the pandemic, a lot of people's gateway into plant care was being a houseplant parent. Plant mom right here.
Plant mom right here.
Right.
Yep.
Studies showed that people don't resonate with the title gardener, right? Even people who are had for society an advanced level of garden knowledge, they always underestimated that. People who are decent at it were like, I'm rubbish, and people who are rubbish
Right.
were like, I don't know the first thing. So
I think that's a North American thing too, because as soon as you go over to Europe, gardens are up here. You don't just hire somebody to tend your gardens.
It's very personal.
You got to have a PhD if you're going to be tending my garden. I'm serious.
Yeah.
When I was over there studying with Fanshawe College, I could not believe. I would almost say that here in North America, we associate gardeners almost like with, and most trades actually, like janitor.
Right.
And I say that with all my love for janitors because they don't get enough credit unless there's something wrong,
Yeah.
right? Then we go after the janitor. But there's this thing over in Europe where they don't have all this space.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to be tending my garden, if you're going to design it, if you're going to install it, you better know
your stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, if you're doing landscape designer, if you're working in landscapes or whatever, you have to know your stuff. There's a lot of time and effort that's gone into retaining and collecting that knowledge that you're then sharing with the world, which is great. And So for us, we're trying to make it so that gardening is less intimidating so that people can set up for success.
More
and going back to your
accessible.
question, hydrangeas, aside from making sure you water it, if you get the right one, it's easy to be successful with that, and that ultimately sets everyone up. If you feel
Now,
good
I
about it.
will add, because you do mention that you want to, you kind of cater to the homeowner who doesn't identify as a gardener. So me as a landscape designer, I also love the range of plants that you have here, because my garden is a collector's garden.
Yeah.
I want the weird, wonderful weirdos, and I come here to get those as well. So I wouldn't cut yourself short. You don't just have, we have the plain Jane June hostas and Annabelle hydrangeas, and that's it. No. Like
we definitely
there's so
have.
much here.
I mean, with thousands of varieties of perennials and shrubs and those things, and that's one of those things that the reward for a job well done is another job. And so with more people coming out to Heemans, we're able to carry a deeper, wider variety. And as a grower, we're able to go and find those things where somebody might ask for something. And I don't really love the answer, well, none of my suppliers have that, so I don't have it for you. So we were always really more leaned into the annuals. Like, we were known for being a place that you could get every annual that you didn't know you needed or didn't even know existed. But with some of those other things, I can't just be the place that has all the things that everyone else has. So, that is a benefit. We want to have something for everyone. And for sure, people who really know plants, we'd love for them to think, I can go to Heemans and I'm going to be able to find that. And then if you don't know plants, we got them milkshakes, so you can get a milkshake
Really good
while you get
milkshakes.
your Monstera.
Milkshakes while you get your Monstera. That's
right.
cute. I like
That'll
that.
be my podcast, Milkshakes and Monsteras.
Milkshakes and Monsteras. Okay, you let me know when the first episode comes out.
I'll have you on,
Awesome, that sounds great. So we are actually recording this episode right now in the end of September. We're out here by the dock in our
tan looks so
t-shirts.
good.
But this episode is actually being published and released to the public the first week of December, and we're doing that intentionally because everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, but lots of people associate Heemans with the outdoor, the plants, the gardening, and then come winter, it's like, oh, what, you guys just sleep all winter? No, you guys are open 364
people are like, what do you
days.
do in the off season? You just must be able to relax.
Yeah, you guys don't
and
have an
see
off
it.
season.
Not anymore.
No.
There's something going on at all times, because even right now as we're talking, we already have plants in there that we've started for next year. We're always looking ahead to the next season, and because we have such a great team, if you're talking to those who are listening that are in the industry, you understand there's a seasonality issue that we have have like great people that you can't run your business without, but you don't always have the work as intense in some of the off seasons as you do some of those busier times. So our focus has been about growing those shoulder seasons, about creating ways for people to interact with and come out to Heemans or be connected to one of the flowers or like the flavor flowers fun things that we're doing. 12 months a year, so that we can again retain more people, create more full-time employment, and
Awesome. And I mean, you have more than just the workshops, which we mentioned before, but you have the trees, right? So you've got fully decorated trees, which are really cool. And they're available for purchase, or is it a raffle? I can't remember. It's for purchase, right? At the end of the season, or how does that work? You have like a tree thing that you sell?
Yeah, so we have like our displays that we have. Our Christmas season focuses like on outdoor decorating. So it's really about making those porch containers that you're going to be putting outside, or a centerpiece for inside. And then we have all of our artificial trees that are inside the greenhouse that are used for decorating with all those picks. So if you're going to take one of Heather's workshops, and she's going to send you out, and you can kind of shop off the trees that are in the bucket. But we have artificial trees that people can purchase, the display tree after, which is what you're talking about. And then we have, of course, poinsettias and all those things. But then we really have whether it's made it already and it's out here just outside it for people to take, or...
and then you have the sale countdown thing.
We do have a Dutch auction. So
Dutch auction, that's what it's called. Okay, so what's a Dutch auction?
If you've been to the flower clock, I mean, we don't mess around with this, okay? You go
serious stuff.
You go to an auction, and it's like, all right. Usually the auctioneer starts with, can I get $12? Which tells you they think it's worth $12, right? And then nobody says yes to $12. That'd be silly.
It'd be crazy.
And then somebody bids $3, and then $3.50, and you work all the way up until somebody says, okay, fine, I'll buy it for $12. So what the Dutch did is they said, nope, we're going to get right down to the point, and we're going to say, Here it is for $12. Does anyone want it for $12? Nope. Okay, $11.50. And the first person to say yes at a descending price gets it. So it's whether you call it a progressive sale or a Dutch auction.
Yep.
We're starting at 10% off. You buy it, and then if you're like, no, I'll wait.
Yep.
You're like, okay, is it
And
going to be
hopefully it's still in
there?
stock.
And then you get the people calling, and be like, hey, how many do you have left now?
Yep.
Ooh, can I wait until it gets to 20? Can I wait until it gets all the way down to 50? Mm-hmm. And that's how that flower clock works, and that's the Dutch auction. So it starts.
And you guys do that, and it's weekly, right? And it leads all the way up to Christmas.
In the last like 2 weeks before Christmas, we start that Dutch auction, and it's basically to make sure that all of our Christmas stuff and winter stuff gets a home in people's spaces, because after Christmas, we're on to spring planning, we're on to winter wellness and all the rest of it. So we're
absolutely. And so for anybody who is listening, whether or not you're local to Heemans, London area, I also wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that if you're looking for a Christmas gift for somebody in your life who may or may not identify as a gardener, but maybe likes plants or is interested in plants or isn't yet interested in plants.
Not yet.
You know what they want for Christmas? A gift certificate, okay? Heemans, you guys have gift certificates.
That's right, yeah.
I'm sure other greenhouses also have gift certificates. It is the first week of December now when you're listening to this. Go out and get that person you love a gift certificate.
You have insert number of days left, probably less than 20,
yeah,
maybe by the time you listen to it. But we, I always say
what they want in their stocking.
You can put that in the stocking, and it's like putting a flat of strawberries, a fresh milkshake, a latte,
a Monstera, and a milkshake.
Yeah, all of the above, and cider. So really, for us, is gift certificates or gift cards and like cider boxes.
Yeah, because you guys have the gift boxes too that people can.
You got that honey back there.
Yep, there's honey.
Bring that out there.
There's jams. You guys do a whole bunch of stuff, and then you do up the boxes all really nice.
These, I have tested this personally, fit perfectly in a stocking.
They fit perfectly in a stocking?
In my stocking that I had as a kid, they definitely do, yeah.
Okay, so we still got lots of time. Good, I just wanted to check on that. So on the pre-interview questionnaire, I'd like to ask people if there is a book or a magazine that has really positively influenced you. And you said yes, but you didn't say what it is. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
What is it? What's a book or a magazine that was just like...
The book is Be Our Guest, and it's by the Disney Institute, and it is one that I often give to some of our managers when they start off, but it's basically Disney's philosophy around guest services, which is why we don't like to call people who visit a shopper or a customer, because I feel like that's very transactional.
Yep.
And this is our space. It's your happy place, so you're our guests.
Yeah.
And when they're coming in, we want people to feel really at home with that. And I think that the bar for customer service is pretty low. And so when you're just doing better than terrible, then it can be refreshingly pleasant to actually come into a space and see people who are engaged, see people who might acknowledge you, talk to you, know what they're talking about. So we aspire to be a happy place for people, and we aspire to make sure that people feel comfortable, whether it's your first time here or it feels like your second home.
Yeah, that's more like me. I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every time I'm here, I just make myself at home. I just walk in the door. It isn't even open yet.
You definitely do. Yeah, and I think that that's great that people can feel that comfortable when they come into a place. And I think that that's one of those things that personally I'm very proud of. That people kind of feel that connection. Everyone's connection is very different. I now know that I'm getting older, because when we're interviewing with potential day makers, we're like, do you shop here? Or have you been here before? And they're like, yeah, I remember tell me about your
grandmother.
Coming with my grandma would come and I get the milkshakes. And I'm like, okay, we're now at that point. That's like when people have their ID and it's like, no, I don't need to see it. I can already see it starts with a 1. You're just like, oh my God, I'm old, right? Because we didn't have milkshakes 20 years ago. We didn't have milkshakes 10 years ago. So,
man, what a thing. And so,
but I love that book. Going back to your question, I love that book because it really does kind of talk about, being a cast member and it's a performance. And I think that there is that struggle when, you as a business owner, when you come in, somebody calls you and they want to work with you, you're coming out, you might be going through a whole bunch of different stuff in your personal life, right? But you've kind of got to put a face on, because that could be an interaction where they've seen Heather on Instagram and she's so lovely and she's full of energy, and so that's that presentation, and we want to make sure that when people come in, whether it's May and it's really busy and it feels like Costco garden centers or whatever, or you're coming in
like
January and it's just like, you know, the ratio is much different and there's like a lot more one-on-one. You want to make sure that people still feel like there's that connection, that it's still that Heemans that they're used to seeing. And, you know, for me on a personal level, that is one of the things that for us as a third generation of Heemans that we're really cognizant of what made Heeman special to people who have been coming here since I was a twinkle in my parents' eye.
Right.
Literally, you know, the greatest compliment that we can get is I've been coming here for 40 years, I've been coming here for 50 years, and I love what you've done with the place. I love, you know, because we've certainly made what I like to think is like we've evolved, you know. I don't like to say that we've grown or you've changed or whatever, but we're evolving.
It's an evolution.
And we want to make sure that, like, in the back of our mind, that I can still remember that that is a toboggan hill behind us and that this pond was built by my grandparents for a very specific reason. And that when people come in, if it's their first time, they feel connected. But also if it's their 40th year coming in, that they still don't go like, you know, it's
this
changed.
Is really,
and I don't know if I recognize it now. We want to be staying on that path.
Yeah.
To me, that's what success is.
And that's so cool when, you know, there's grandmothers who bring their kids and then their kids have kids and grow up and they bring their kids. Yeah. So I've actually come here myself too with my niece. Yeah. And I have my cart and she has her cart, and, you know, and okay, we picked one thing for, like, for Mother's Day or something, and just being able to share that with the next generation is so cool.
There was a white paper that was done, and that was a part of a research study a few years back, and it was just talking about people's perception of gardening and what their gardening level was and how important it was. And it was all over the map about what people's comfort level was with it and whether it was important to them and whether they came all the time to into the garden or whether they dabbled in it or didn't do it at all. Yep. But the one thing that stood out across the board, whether they were like hardcore gardeners or like didn't give any effort to it whatsoever, I thought, is that everyone believed that it was important for kids to garden and to learn how to garden and to be engaged in it. And I thought that was really special, which is why we like to put that focus on having those little kid carts. Yeah. And because I have a 2-year-old, and the first thing that she does when she comes is she beelines into it and grabs one of those carts, right? Because there's that connection, and we want people to spark that joy and that level, because I think that, you know, we are a greenhouse and we're also a farm. And for many people, we might be the first farm that people ever interact with, coming out to get strawberries or coming out to go pick their own or whatever. That is their first interaction with that. That's where they see that strawberries are actually in season for a period of time, because they're not just a thing that's available in the grocery store all the time. Yeah. And the strawberries don't grow on trees, they grow on little plants that are low to the ground. And you know, and I think that's very honest thing for people to have a disconnect from, because when you grow up, like, you don't...
Strawberries in the store. That's where they come from.
Strawberries are in the store. Right? That's right. And, or that we name our varieties, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows a variety of apple. I'm sure they're like, oh, I'm a Honeycrisp guy, and they're Cosmic, and they're like, whatever. Yep. But when it comes to strawberries, unless you're a Heemans fan, maybe, you know, we want to be like, we call them like berry connoisseurs, which is why we tell you what variety we're picking today and what varieties we're like going into. Even the Sunday sauce, if you look at the Sunday sauce, it'll say it was made with Malwina or made with Albion or whatever, just so that we can kind of like determine the flavor profiles and the consistencies with them, because
I did not know that
it matters and it's important. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
That's right.
So last thing I just want to end with, I mean, you're just a wealth of information and also stories. I mean, the history with this place and your family is just incredible. But if you had one piece of advice for somebody who's either just started their own greenhouse or somebody who wants to open their own greenhouse, what's one piece of advice that you'd leave them?
I would say you want to know your why. What is truly the reason that you think that your business will be special? Yep. What is it that you hold to be like most valuable and most important to you? And don't lose sight of that in terms of what it is that you're willing to compromise on, what it is that you're setting out and having that integrity with it. Because you know, for being in the greenhouse industry and being in retail, it's a ton of fun. And there's so many different people that will come through, and there's people who will have questions about everything. Yep. And you're not going to know the answers to all of them, and you won't always have everything that somebody wants. And I always try to remind myself that, again, the reward for a job well done is another job, and they're only asking for that because they appreciate the other things that you've done, and they want to be able to buy that from you too. But sometimes when you're really busy or really stressed, it doesn't always feel like that. And that's where if you kind of hold on to what is it we're trying to do, and what is it that you most value, and you don't lose sight of that, then going back to my comment before about like holding on to that legacy that we have of what my grandparents had started, and having our core values that we hold on to, and our vision of making our space your happy place, and really kind of knowing that, then you might deviate off the path, but you're always going in the direction you set off in.
Right.
And that, I think, is really important, because you could get lost.
I imagine. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure being here, talking with you at your beautiful greenhouse. Thank you for the blueberry cider.
It's too bad that yours didn't
I'm going to need a refill, but cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Thank you for coming out.
And I'm sure I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
You.
This is quite delicious.
Yeah. Tastes like more.
Now we just get the straws out.
This one's for you, my man.
That concludes this week's episode, hosted by me, Heather Gerard, my landscape artist. Now, before you go, here's some info about our sponsor, ext.tech. In today's fast-paced world, your landscaping business needs modern solutions to keep up with the change. That's where EXT comes in. EXT is revolutionizing the way you manage projects and streamlines your landscaping, snow removal, and construction operations. Instead of juggling 5 different software packages, endless spreadsheets, losing track of leads, and missing out on potential sales, you could be leveraging AI job routing, client management, and financial insights with a modern mobile app that employees love to use. With EXT's flat rate pricing, you'll never be caught off guard. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech today to learn more. And for additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you. See you next week for another episode of Hops and Hedges.